Welcome back, press fans. Coming to you from Altman Studios in downtown Brentwood to your ears wherever you are, this is Clocked In with the Press. I'm Melissa Van Rooten, here with press editor Kyle Szymanski on sports.
Hello.
Today we'll be talking about the continuation of reproductive rights in California, some open county commission seats, a ton of breaking news, and some celebrations for the 4th of July. But first, let's hear a quick word from this episode's sponsor.
This episode of Clocked In with the Press is sponsored by Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard, right here in Brentwood. For award-winning sales, service, and all your Ford needs, think Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard.
Thanks so much. Jumping right in. Anyone trying to get in touch with Planned Parenthood in Antioch following the Supreme Court's June 24th reversal of Roe v. Wade may have found it difficult to do so. On June 27th, 3 days after the decision, an automated message on the phone advised that wait times would be over an hour long to speak to a representative with nearly 100 callers already queued up. Following the decision by the High Court to overturn the 1973 Supreme Court ruling that granted a woman's right to choose whether or not to have an abortion, Governor Gavin Newsom and Contra Costa County Supervisor Diane Burgess released statements clarifying that access to reproductive care would remain unchanged locally. In a June 24th statement from Burgess's office, it said, Contra Costa Health today reaffirms its commitment to reproductive rights. In Contra Costa County, everyone will continue to have the same access to reproductive health care as they did before this decision. Supportive, confidential services are and will remain widely available in the county. The county's response is in line with that from state officials such as Newsom, who signed Assembly Bill 1666 on June 24th to protect those in California who provide, aid in, or receive abortion care in California from civil liability, according to the governor's press release. The governor said, with today's Supreme Court decision to endanger the health and safety of millions of women across the country, California must do everything it can to protect the fundamental rights of all women, in California and beyond. We know that states like Missouri are already targeting women seeking abortions in states like California, where abortion remains legal. The legislation seeks to protect women and care providers from civil liability imposed by other states and sends a clear message that California will continue to be a safe haven for all women seeking reproductive health care services in our state. In addition to signing legislation to protect those in California seeking access to reproductive health care, Newsom also joined the governors of Washington and Oregon in issuing a, quote, multi-state commitment to continue to provide the same access across the West Coast, Newsom said. He also said, California has banded together with Oregon and Washington to stand up for women and to protect access to reproductive health care. We will not sit on the sidelines and allow patients who seek reproductive care in our states or the doctors that provide that care to be intimidated with criminal prosecution. We refuse to go back, and we will fight like hell to protect our rights and our values. While the decision has led to uncertainty nationwide as the legality of abortion reverts to being decided by each state, Contra Costa County remains committed to maintaining the status quo. Karen Mitchoff, chairperson of the County Board of Supervisors, said in a press release, the ability to access reproductive care and to maintain autonomy over our bodies is essential to the health and well-being of everyone in our community. I remember a time when we did not have the right to choose. Here in Contra Costa County, we will do everything we can to not go back to those days. If I needed any further reasoning why I will remain a California resident probably until the day I die, this is huge. There's also a wonderful letter to the editor in this week's paper. For those of you interested in checking it out, it is by
Assembly Member Lori Wilson.
Yes, who is the newest Assembly member for District 11, I believe it is. And it is very touching and recounts a personal anecdote of her own regarding reproductive rights. I will always stand for a woman's right to choose. It shouldn't be up to legislatures. It should be between the woman and their doctor. You might have a different opinion, but and you're entitled to that opinion, but legislating that opinion for other people, for other people's bodies, that's a lot. Moving on, The Meals on Wheels Diablo region seeks delivery associates to deliver meals to senior clients in Contra Costa County. The nonprofit, which estimates it helps 7,500 seniors each year in Contra Costa County, strives to enhance the lives of older adults by providing coordinated care that enables them to live independently. In addition to hourly pay, delivery associates receive mileage reimbursement. Quote, seniors are the hidden hungry, and the meal we deliver is often the only meal they will eat all day, said Zoe Broussard, a spokesperson for the organization. And often the brief interaction with the delivery associate may be the only person a senior will see all day. For more information or to apply, visit the Meals on Wheels Diablo Region website. Contra Costa County officials are seeking candidates to fill several open commission seats. The first board is the Assessment Appeals Board, and they have one alternate seat open. The Aviation Advisory Committee has one regular seat open. The Economic Opportunity Council has 3 regular seats and 2 alternate seats. The Fish and Wildlife Committee has 1 seat open, and the Historical Landmarks Advisory Committee has 1 seat in District 3 open. All positions will remain open until they are filled. Candidates for these positions must live in District 3 or any specified boundary area for special districts. And for those of you who might not be sure, District 3 is composed of the cities of Antioch, Oakley, and Brentwood, and the unincorporated communities of Bethel Island, Byron, Knightson, and Discovery Bay. To download an application for any of these openings, visit https://www.contracosta.ca.gov/64008/boards-and-commissions-database. Applications should be submitted to the clerk of the board's office located at 1025 Escobar Street, first floor, Martinez, California, 94553, or by email to clerkoftheboard@cob.cccounty.us. For more information, including on how to apply, contact District 3 Representative Alicia Newcoles at alicia.newcoles, that's NUCHOLS, @bos.cccounty.us. And you can find all of this information in this week's paper and also on our website. This sounds really cool. It's a great way to be more involved in the community and some of these different committees, make your voice heard, take part in your civic duty and be a part of what's going on. And now let's pass it over to Kyle for sports. What you got, Kyle?
All right, we got some exciting news on the diamond. Former Heritage pitcher Paul Blackburn is looking to be an MLB All-Star. When Major League Baseball's best players gather in Los Angeles for the 92nd Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the Oakland Athletics might be represented by starting pitcher Paul Blackburn, a 2012 graduate of Heritage High School. Blackburn is the only Heritage alum to play in Major League Baseball, and AthleticNations.com recently projected that Blackburn or fellow starting pitcher Frankie Montas would represent the A's in Los Angeles, giving a slight edge to the former Patriot, and with good reason. Blackburn is enjoying the best season of his career. His start on Monday, June 17th, was his 15th of the year, and he has compiled a 6-3 record on the year with a 3.12 ERA, a 1.19 walks and hits per inning pitched number, and 62 strikeouts in 80.2 innings. And the A's are the only team that Blackburn has played on at the major league level. So not only, Melissa, is this a really cool thing locally to see a star on the edge of real success, but this is a really good lesson for all baseball players and all athletes, because Paul Blackburn's road to the Major League Baseball was not easy. He had to spend several years in the minor leagues, and then he toiled around with a couple of major league teams. He got traded a couple times, and at one point the A's even designated him for assignment, which means they weren't real high on him, and they basically put him out on the market for other teams to grab. Thankfully, no other teams grabbed him, so he returned to the A's. He went back to the minor leagues where players develop. And this season, his opportunity really came, and the A's put him on their roster, and now he's succeeding.
He's killing it. I mean, that's amazing. That's really cool. And to be able to grow up here and still play close to home, like his family must get to go to games. And I know I say it every time you talk about we have some amazing athletes out here, and to see him and
Najee
Joe
Harris.
Mixon, Najee Harris.
Mixon, the list goes on.
For sure. And who knows, maybe I'm looking to get out to some ball. Baseball is fun to watch live. Kind of watching on TV is, But I'm hoping to get out to see some A's games, some Giants games this year, and it'd be really fun to see him pitch.
Yeah, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated on his progress. And speaking of Najee Harris, Melissa, the former Antioch High School star and current Pittsburgh Steelers running back returned to his old stomping grounds this week for his first youth football camp. During 2 sessions last Saturday, an estimated 490 youth performed football drills, interacted with Harris, and learned some off-field lessons such as the importance of education. And his foundation focuses on assisting underserved families and reaching their potential and goals, and that's according to its website. And the foundation hopes to provide tools and assistance to families facing challenging times, focusing on education, homelessness, hunger, and using sports as a platform to develop life skills. And if you were out there, you might have also seen some other NFL stars, including Marshawn Lynch, also known as Beast Mode, and quarterback Josh Johnson, an Oakland native, now with the Denver Broncos. And for a complete rundown of this camp, visit thepress.net, including a whole host of photos.
Awesome. And then also, if you want more information, you can visit the Bigger Picture Foundation website.
Absolutely. And this was just another fantastic opportunity for the youngsters of today to get out and really interact with professional athletes.
For sure. And see where the hard work that you put in, the reward that comes from it. I love that he's come back and he's offering this to youth. Sometimes people tend to forget where their roots were and they've moved on. And it's so great for him to bring that back and show kids, like, work hard, stay in school, get a good education, and you too can reach these goals that you have. Like, there's nothing that is keeping you from it.
Exactly. And for people who missed this camp, give Freedom High School a call because Joe Mixon is holding a camp in a few weeks. The details are still to be determined, but it's going to happen in mid-July, and I believe it's free. So go ahead and give Freedom High School a call because they'll have all the details.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's head to the track. The flat track motorcycles invaded Antioch Speedway for a special night of racing on the clay oval track. Over a dozen different classifications of bikes took their turns on the Speedway in the heat race and main event competition. Tony Meering proceeded to score the big victory in the 4-lap trophy dash, and he had his eyes on a $1,000 prize in the 20-lap main event, and he led that race from the outset. Brandon Weller moved into second on lap 2, and Chris McDougall battled his way into third, and that's how the trio finished. This brought great variety to the track, Melissa, because people are used to seeing cars out there racing, but it was a whole host of motorcycles, kids, adults. It didn't really matter what you were looking for. It was action-packed, and it brought variety to the track. They recently brought in monster trucks and now motorcycles. So,
oh my gosh, how did I miss the monster trucks? That is really cool. This is another thing. I know it's there, and it's something that I don't really give much thought to. My kids would love it. And I was actually just speaking with somebody yesterday who races. He's a third-generation racer. His mom and his grandma raced before him, which I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And he was talking about how he hopes his kids will pick it up when they're a little older. And I'm actually hoping that he'll come be a guest on the podcast. We need to get that set up. But, he was talking about there aren't a lot of places left for stuff like this in the area in the last decade or whatever. They've closed about 7 dirt tracks in the area. And he thinks it's so important to have this space that people who love racing, they can go, they can do it safely, they can show their kids the sport and continue it. So bring your families. Antioch Speedway, it's right downtown Antioch. They do events every week, and like you said, Kyle, it sounds like they're adding a lot of variety for different interests.
Exactly. It's cheap, action-packed fun. What more could you ask for?
Right? For sure.
And let's end the sports segment on a good note. We got some all-star volleyball players to talk about. Marcela Bustamante of Liberty was named the MVP, and some other big names that were named to the team were Gabe de Guzman of Liberty, Jesse Glenn of Liberty, Christian Bassa of Heritage, Henry Wynn of Deer Valley, and Ricardo Morales of Freedom. and full teams are on thepress.net. And Melissa, this is a big accomplishment. It's tough to make a high school volleyball team, let alone be one of the best in the area. So congrats to them.
For sure. I mean, you have, 6 people out on the court at any given time for a volleyball game. So it's not like you have this big team with a ton of backups. At most, you have 12? I don't, I could be making that up too, but, first team, second team. So that is really fun. My parents used to play on a rec league for volleyball, and I can remember going to watch the game. It's a lot of fun.
All right, so once again, congratulations to them, and let's hear another word from today's sponsor. But stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll have this week's breaking news and information on the big 4th of July weekend.
Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard. Speaking personally, I've used the Service Center at Bill Brandt Ford several times, and I've always been impressed by their commitment to the customer. I used to have this real lemon of a Ford Fusion that I bought from a less reputable dealer, and Dave, the service advisor at Bill Brandt, moved mountains to keep that thing running. My younger sister bought a car from Bill Brandt a couple years ago, and their finance department worked with her budget, and now she drives a nicer car than me. But don't just take my word for it. Bill Brandt Ford is the recipient of the prestigious President's Award from the Ford Motor Company. Only 340 of the roughly 5,000 dealerships nationwide can say the same. Locally, the community has voted them Best of Brentwood for sales and service. Bill Brandt aims to give customers the best dealership experience possible. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 925-634-3551 for all your sales and service needs, or visit BillBrandtFord.com. That's Bill, BRANDT, Ford.com.
Thanks so much, and here's this week's breaking news. A 25-year-old Oakley man was arrested for suspected felony DUI, possession of a loaded handgun, and possession of drugs for sale after a vehicle crash that seriously injured a woman in Oakley on Saturday night, June 25th. Oakley police say they found Malcolm Shepard to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol upon arriving at the scene of the two-vehicle crash on Main Street at Big Break Road at about 8:50 p.m. Police also discovered a loaded Glock handgun and approximately 250 OxyContin 30-milligram pills in a plastic bag in Shepard's vehicle, according to authorities. The female driver of the second vehicle involved in the crash was in critical but stable condition on June 26th after being airlifted to John Muir Medical Center in Walnut Creek moments after the crash, police said. I think her car caught on fire. It sounds like it was a pretty crazy scene.
Let's just send good thoughts to everyone involved in this incident.
For sure. Oakley police are searching for a 26-year-old Stockton man suspected of shooting another man on Carroll Lane in Oakley on Saturday night, June 25th. Oakley police say Christopher James Williams of Stockton shot a man after the man showed up and began arguing with Williams about visiting a woman at her apartment at about 9:40 p.m. The unidentified man suffered a gunshot wound to the abdomen and is currently in critical condition at a local hospital, police said on June 26th. Police say the female occupant of the apartment transported Williams out of the area before police arrived on the scene. No update on the victim was available. Williams is a parolee with an arrest warrant for a previous parole violation, police said. He is wanted for assault with a deadly weapon, use of a firearm during the commission of a crime, possession of a firearm by a parolee, an additional parole violation, and his outstanding warrant, according to police. The firearm used in this incident was not recovered, and Williams is considered armed, police said. Anyone with information about this incident is urged to call the Oakley Police Department at 925-625-8855. So clearly Saturday night was very busy for first responders in Oakley, because this call came in about 20 minutes after the car accident. So they were pretty hopping, and hopefully they're able to apprehend this man, and hopefully the victim also comes out of everything okay. Moving on, 3 people died and 2 others, including a child, were injured when an Amtrak train hit a passenger vehicle at a private crossing on Orwood Road in Brentwood on the afternoon of Sunday, June 26th, an East Contra Costa Fire Protection District spokesperson said. An Amtrak official on the scene said the train, carrying 80 passengers, was northbound when it collided with a vehicle at the 3000 block of Orwood Road at about 1 p.m. 3 people in the vehicle were pronounced dead on the scene, and 2 others in the vehicle, including a child, were transported to John Muir Medical Center with major injuries, said Fire Marshal Steve Aubert. No injuries were reported on the train, according to an Amtrak official on scene. The Contra Costa County coroner identified the dead as Julia Mondragon, 41, of Dixon, Maria Nieves, 72, of Dixon, and Mercedes Regaldo, 51, of Antioch. As of June 28th, there was no update on the injured. BNSF Railway owns the track where the crash occurred. Lena Kent, BNSF Executive Director of Public Affairs, said in an email June 28th that the agency is working with Amtrak, the National Transportation Safety Board, and local authorities to investigate the cause of the crash. Kent said the private crossing where this took place had a stop sign which would require you to stop and look both ways before crossing the tracks. There are no gates at this crossing. The Federal Railroad Administration database shows the last time an incident occurred at the private crossing was in 2014, and the person involved was not injured. This is a private crossing and is not intended to be used by the general public, Kent said.
And this incident underscores the importance of being safe around railroad tracks. Now, a lot of people are probably going to cast blame on the poor people in the vehicle, but let's be real here, right? I mean, all people are probably guilty of being nonchalant around train tracks.
For sure.
If you don't expect a train to be there, you're not going to be expecting a train. But it's important to always remember that one is possibly within range of your vehicle. And for people who need a little reminder, go to operationlifesaver.com. It's a website that's ran by a nonprofit, and they really break down just how quickly trains can travel and just how to be safe around train tracks. But this incident really highlights just the importance of being cautious around train tracks. And as they say, when you come to a track, think train.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't realize, sadly, when a train is traveling towards you and you are out in front of the train is moving at a high rate of speed. And those Amtrak trains, especially on some of these back tracks, they're moving. And while they are required to blow their horns at any crossing, they're moving faster than the speed that the sound is traveling. So a lot of the time, they'll be blowing your horn, and unless they're right up on you, you might not hear them. And I know there's an awful bend in that section that kind of makes it difficult between that and the orchards. And I really feel for this poor property owner. I read he'd asked multiple times for arms or for a crossing signal to be put in on that property and had no response. So it's tragic. I also know these people were just coming from or going to a memorial service and fundraiser for a family member that had passed the week before. So it's a terrible situation. Please always be cautious. Even tracks. I know that we have tracks that run through Brentwood that I see people all the time, oh, well, they don't get used. They don't get used until they do. And so that complacency can be really dangerous. Just be cautious. Moving on. 2 people were hospitalized after they were seriously injured in a 5-vehicle crash at the intersection of Sand Creek Road and Minnesota Avenue in Brentwood on Monday morning, June 27th. A pickup truck traveling east on Sand Creek Road ran a red light at around 10:30 a.m. and collided with an SUV traveling north on Minnesota Avenue, according to police. The collision spun the SUV into a bicyclist who was crossing Sand Creek Road with the light before the SUV came to rest facing east in the westbound lane of Sand Creek. The adult male bicyclist, who was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash, was airlifted to a local hospital in critical condition. The driver of the SUV, a male in his 60s, required extrication from his vehicle and was transported by ground ambulance with major injuries to a local hospital. An eyewitness who was stopped for the red light described seeing the bicycle flip into the air before coming to rest in front of her vehicle. So this was my first morning back from vacation. And as always, it was a bit chaotic trying to figure out what had happened. And you see it all the time driving through Brentwood. People trying to race to beat the light, or people not even paying attention and going through the red. And again, it's not just you. You have other people. And in this case, Man, it was crazy that this silver SUV was so far off track from where they started. 2 people in the hospital. I did read that the bicyclist is in stable condition now, but still in the hospital and expected to make a recovery. But again, like, what a way to start your Monday morning, and just take a minute. There's nothing that important that you can't take a minute to stop at a red light. And trust me, I perpetually run late, and I hate going down Balfour. If you hit one of those red lights, you hit every single one the rest of the way. And yeah, it's annoying, but it's not at the price of potentially somebody else's life. That's all we have for news. But of course, this weekend is 4th of July weekend. It should be exciting. I'm going to take this moment to remind our listeners that fireworks are illegal in Contra Costa County. Sorry to be a buzzkill, but the amount of fires that are started from them can be absolutely devastating. There was recently a 200-acre vegetation fire in Pittsburgh that the cause was determined to be by fireworks. We are in a drought, and we have a shortage of fire personnel. So please, please, when you're getting together with your families, remember your neighbors, remember the poor pets that get freaked out, remember the veterans that could live by you who suffer from PTSD. All of these, just be considerate. Don't set our city on fire, and recreate responsibly. Antioch has turned 150 years and is celebrating in a variety of ways. The Celebrate Antioch Foundation, an all-volunteer nonprofit that organizes family-friendly safe events, has planned numerous free events so that friends, family, and local residents can celebrate together, according to its website. Fresh off of a 5K run and walk and a community bike ride on June 25th and 26th, a concert is planned at Williamson Ranch Park for July 2nd from 3 to 9 p.m. Bands will include Blind to Reason, Groove Ride, and Project 4 Band. Families are encouraged to bring blankets and chairs, according to the organization. Food trucks will be present, but attendees can bring their own food and drinks as well. The following day, July 3rd, will be a military tribute concert from 3 to 9 p.m. on 2nd and E Streets in downtown Antioch. The concert lineup for that one is expected to include the Illusions, the Groove Room Band, and the Air Force Band of the Golden West. Beer, wine, and food trucks will also be on site, but again, I'm sure that you can bring your own food and drinks, have a picnic. And then the 4th of July, which is Monday, is slated to feature a pancake breakfast from 8 to 10 downtown, followed by a parade from 11 to 12:30. There will be crafts and food vendors, a huge kids zone. Tickets are $10 each, and then live music on 2 different stages from 1 to 9 p.m. Those bands, man, I love all these bands, will include Vocal Ease, RJ Haas Band, Costa, Latin Heat, and the Groove Doctors. The main stage will feature Anthony Paul, Soul Orchestra, Foreverland, Lydia Pence and Cold Blood, and Juan Escovedo All-Stars Band. Sacred Fire Dance will also perform. The night will end with a fireworks display at 9:30 p.m. over the river. For more information, visit celebrateantioch.org. So if you're looking for fireworks, there you go. Head to Antioch, see some awesome fireworks. If you're looking for something fun to do on Monday morning for the 4th of July, come on out to Brentwood's annual 4th of July parade. This year, no reservations will be needed. Last year's event required parade goers to make a reservation and maintain social distancing due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Reservations will not be required this year, but the city will be following any remaining state, county, and local COVID guidelines. Also returning this year will be the ever-popular Children's Parade, which precedes the main parade. Kids of all ages are invited to decorate bicycles, wagons, and strollers, and no pre-registration is required for that either. I will say they do not want any motorized scooters. They did point that out. The meeting place for that is at 1st Street and 1st Street. Brentwood Recreation Manager Ben Cusick stated in an email, "The Children's Parade is fun because it gives the children in the community an opportunity to be in a parade and a part of the festivities." This year's parade will follow the traditional route, stepping off from the intersection of 1st and Birch Streets at 9:30 a.m. It will then turn right onto Oak Street and continue through downtown before coming to an end in front of City Hall. Parade participants will have 3 opportunities along the route to perform for the judges. Judging grandstands will be at 1st and Chestnut Streets, 1st and Oak Streets, and 2nd and Oak Streets. Overall, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place prizes will be awarded, along with awards for the most patriotic, best performance, and most creative categories. There are currently 36 registered parade entries, but that number continues to grow. If you're interested in participating, see details at https://bit.ly/4thparade2022. And I believe they're still accepting applications. This is a really fun event. We took part in the children's parade a few years ago. The kids had a great time. It's just a nice kind of quaint hometown 4th of July parade. So definitely come on out, bring some lawn chairs, line the streets, support the local businesses, and just have a fun morning. Some other 4th of July events happening in the area. We have the Tracy 4th of July fireworks show. That will be from 7 to 10 p.m. at John C. Kimball High School Football Stadium, 3200 Jaguar Run in Tracy, and that is on Monday. The Celebrate Concord Parade and Fireworks, also Monday, July 4th. There'll be a Stars and Stripes Kids Fun Run and then a Stars and Stripes 5K run/walk starting at 8. At 10 a.m., their 4th of July parade will be taking place at the Todos Santos Plaza. And then at 9 p.m., they will be having fireworks at Mount Diablo High School, located at 2450 Grant Street in Concord. Gates do open at 6 p.m., so get there early, have a little picnic dinner, get your spot set up, and enjoy some great fireworks. And then if you don't feel like going to Concord, you can also go to Livermore's United We Shine Community Fireworks Night on Monday. Their fireworks show will start at 9:30 p.m., and you will be able to view it from various locations in downtown Livermore, but please be aware street closures begin at 4 p.m., so get there early in order to get parking. What do you think, Kyle? Are you going to any of them?
I'll probably be working because, the news never stops, but the good news is that we work right in the middle of the parade.
I know,
right, Melissa? So we'll just can look out the window and take a look while you are probably going to be taking some photos.
I'll wave at everybody. I will. I'm excited to get lots of great photos. I was out of town for the parade last year, and I'm excited to be here this weekend. There's a lot of great stuff going on. There's also an event that didn't make it on here, but it kind of came across our radar. It is called Flotsam River Circus, and it is happening tonight in Bethel Island at 7 p.m., and I believe we have something up for the details, the address. They're also doing a few more in Stockton, and then the Delta Loop over the weekend. It is free and fun for families. Sounds like a fun little performance. I believe they said, musicians and puppets and little skits, and it all takes place right on the water. So that's something also fun to check out this weekend. You can definitely find more information about that on our website. And that is it for today's episode of Clocked In with the Press. We appreciate you taking the time to listen in, and we look forward to speaking with you in future episodes. If you would like to read more news stories of East Contra Costa County, you can do so through our website at www.thepress.net or through our Twitter and Instagram at PressClockedIn. Be sure to tune in again next week for all your news and sports highlights. Contact us with your thoughts on this episode or any other before it by emailing podcasts@brentwoodpress.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a fun and safe weekend, and we will speak with you all next time. This is Melissa.
And Kyle, clocking out.
Once again, I'd like to thank this week's sponsor, Bill Brandt Ford, located at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard. Whether you're looking to buy a new Ford, a used Ford, or get some work done on your Ford, you want Bill Brandt Ford. Give them a call today at 925-634-3551. That number again is 925-634-3551. Or visit them online at BillBrandtFord.com. That's Bill Brandt, BRANDT Ford.com.